Welcome back. All right, so today and yesterday I've been watching a movie. I finished it. It's 2 hours and 18 minutes, but it didn't feel like 2 hours and 18 minutes. And that's Terrifier 2. So, yeah, I got through it. Yep, I did. Um, got pretty sick to my stomach a few times watching it. Like, the gore is very over the top. It does get to the point of being ridiculous, but I was so nauseated at the time that I couldn't really it's one of those things that so watching this movie, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Sienna's a great character, and I really see something there. She's like the ultimate final girl. She's absolutely Lauren Lavera, the actress playing that role. I will look for her, and whatever she's in, I will watch. And she's got this screen presence. There's something a little different there. She's fantastic. And Art the Clown, I think, has really committed to his own. And while he doesn't speak, there's still expression there. It's not like with Jason Voorhees where there's not even expression. There's just, walking and chopping and walking and chopping. And although in the early Friday the 13th, there was a little more expression from Jason as the movies go along, he just becomes a zombie. Of course, the Deadite thing too, but that's all by the wayside. Now, I know they're making a third movie. I've seen that Lauren Lavera is listed to be in that. I'm going to get into spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it, I will say this: it is a very good movie. It honestly is a very good movie. Not much of a plot, but it's a horror movie, so you don't need much of a plot. The the way that this movie amps up the tension is fantastic. It's so well done. But if you can't handle extreme gore, this is not your movie. Because even if you do I won't look at the screen in that moment, and I've definitely seen people that do that, and there were times during this movie where I was kind of a little. I think the sound of what's going on would still be upsetting. So this is one that I could never watch with my wife. Um, I would recommend it, but again, it's a cautious recommendation. You have to have a pretty strong stomach for this kind of stuff. I've often seen the comparison since the movie came out of, well, it's like 80s level gore. The MPAA would have censored that into the ground. There's no way that the movie as it is would have been released in theaters in the 80s. There's zero chance. Um, Gore was very much tamped down, and if you watch, I would say Friday the 13th Part 6 has very little blood in it, even. By the time you get to Jason Takes Manhattan, it's all cartoonish, and it's very, very little in the terms of gore, and you see people with these kills that wouldn't have killed them. I know when Yvonne and I watched some of the Friday the 13th, we both looked at each other and were like, actually, that wouldn't have killed them that quickly. I mean, it's fine. I don't want to see them in pain, but you wouldn't die from not that quickly from that. So, anyways, in this movie, it's the other way around. Wounds and cuts and just awful injuries that would murder a person don't in Terrifier 2. They just don't, which has me thinking this is some alternate universe where these kinds of things happen. It has to be. Art the Clown is very clearly a demon. He's very clearly got some kind of a supernatural side to him. So, again, if you want to watch it, my recommendation is to do so. But, again, the gore. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and get into spoilers. We'll go with spoilers? We'll go with spoilers. So, Sienna's fantastic. The sword thing was weird. There are some definite moments in this movie where you're like, what's going on? So she dies, she drowns, and then this sword lights up and it brings her back to life, or it's attached to bringing her back to life. It's a sword that was given to her by her father. Her father had drawn pictures of her wearing this Halloween costume that she's wearing in this movie, which is fantastic, and I hope that's her outfit for the next movie too. I hope she's just now like It's almost like a Xena outfit, but with angel wings. So fine, she can just be that way now. She can just be the new warrior princess, Sienna, the new warrior princess. I'm fine with that, not a problem. Actually, now that I've said it out loud, if they rebooted Xena, she'd be perfect for the role. Although I think she's a bit short for the role. Lucy Lawless, I'm pretty sure, is around the 6 foot mark, and it definitely made a difference. I'm getting sidetracked, but I'm getting Lauren Lavera new work. Anyways, and starting a new series while I'm at it. And, I mean, they're all on strike right now, so I could probably just call her, say, hey, do you want to try filming a new season? Sure, I'm not doing anything. Are you associated with the studios? Not at all. Indie, cool, because indie movies are still going to get made. Just the studios are shut down right now. So the movie in general, I thought it advanced well. Um, Character development is always going to be spotty when you're talking about horror movies. The character development is always kind of sidelined. The storyline about her dad and having clearly there's some kind of a clairvoyance thing, and when she is in front of this weird pit that drops her in the tank of fluid, which reminds me of Empire Strikes Back. Maybe that's why she got healed up in it. Um, she's in the tank from Hoth, but there's definitely something there. There is a lore that they can get into in the third movie. They could even kind of do it as a prequel, and I know it would upset people if it was a prequel, and yet the original Terrifier already kind of turns the story on its head. And so, since it turns the story on its head, and this one kind of does too, where it kind of blends things with the first movie, and this happened here, and this, and then this, and it's really interesting. I find the whole thing very very interesting. Again, the kills are really over the top. They're absolutely ridiculous, and I understand that there's people who really like that, but I don't remember anything in the 80s anywhere near that. I understand there's Cannibal Holocaust. I didn't see that in the 80s. I mean, like mainstream, there wasn't really anything like that because it would not have been allowed to be seen in theaters. Whereas this one was shown in theaters. I think that once we get to Terrifier 3, if that movie comes out quickly enough, I think that maybe it'll work. I had mentioned when I talked about the first Terrifier movie that I thought it was too bad that the gore was so over the top because Art the Clown I think could be the next like iconic villain in horror movies. We might get there anyways. I might be completely wrong. Maybe the over the top gore gets them there faster. Um, I mean, if you got into the origins of Art the Clown, the thing with that is you don't want to take away the mystery completely. You don't want to make it, I don't know, you don't want to make it where it becomes kind of formulaic. So do you really want to know where Art the Clown originated and how all this started? And it kind of feels like that's what they're setting up because when she's near the pit, there was a voice I heard and I thought, okay, could her dad be one of the voices that we're hearing? The definitely there's a lot of planning that goes into this movie, and so I do wonder if there's a plot here that will backdoor into maybe some kind of prequel. Like we know that the kid's dad apparently went crazy and died, but we haven't seen him die on screen. And one thing I've learned with movies, I've always said it was superhero movies, but it's definitely true with horror movies too. If you don't see someone die on screen, it didn't happen. Now, sometimes you see somebody die on screen and they come back anyways. That does happen. Looking at you, Stranger Things. Sure, yeah. He got away. Yeah, yeah. Sure he did. Yeah, Matthew Modine he got away. The creature jumps on him. He gets away. Anyway, that's a whole other plot line for a different show. But it's remarkable how well this movie's put together. And again, it's 2 hours and 18 minutes. Doesn't feel like it. It doesn't. The post-credit scene is it's a stinger to set up the next movie. I have no idea what they're going to do. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to see more of that little girl in the next movie. I'm guessing yes, but very clearly there's this demonic presence to Art and anything that he's touched. We see that with Vicky at the end of the movie in that disturbing scene at the mental hospital, and so there's definitely something there. My only concern again is that when we get to part three, that they could start it by killing off the heroine from the second movie. The way that Damien Leone has structured this, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if that happened, but I'd be disappointed. So, because I think he's kind of created sort of the ultimate final girl. Seriously, I think that might be one of the. I would put that final girl up there with Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street, with Chris from Friday the 13th. That's Friday the 13th Part 3 and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. I'm trying to think of who else. There's the Final Girls movie. Almost anybody from that, I would put her up against almost any of them. And it was kind of fantastic. The little brother, too, I think there's a storyline to be had there where maybe after the attack from Art the Clown, maybe the brother goes kind of a little bit squirrely. Maybe he starts showing signs of being a little bit off his rocker and being willing to off people too. The one thing that I did find myself laughing at, and I don't know if this is intentional. I think it has to be, because it got to the point where I was like, this is getting ridiculous, which is that the adult characters, and I say this even though Lauren Lavera is 29. So when she was in the high school scenes where she's in high school, I'm like, I don't believe she's high school age, because she's clearly not. I don't remember a woman in their mid to late 20s in my senior high class. I just I don't remember that at all. But there are scenes with her where it's just really, really well done. And I don't know how else to put it. I'm trying to think of other ways to put it, but it is a shame that the gore is so far over the top. Because if not, yeah, I'd be telling my wife, "Hey, we should watch this. This is actually a really good movie." Because there's that chase aspect. Although clearly, Art the Clown has some kind of teleportation ability. He's basically just toying with people, and toying with people is his game. And then she fights back. Sienna fights back. And once Sienna fights back, it becomes really, really kick-ass. There are parts in it, too, where people are screaming. I'm going to get into the other part that I was going to talk about. I'll get back on that train of thought. But there's moments where people are screaming when they should be doing anything else. That's the only criticism I would have. That people see Art, they know what's coming, and they just stand there and scream. And I'm like, seriously, do anything. Anything right now. Anything to show you want to live. No? Okay. So the over-the-top thing that I got a kick out of was that every adult character, and that's where I got sidetracked with the fact that the main actress is 29. She's not high school age. But all the adult characters, so their mother, and any teacher from the school, the principal, whoever, they all screamed. They all yelled at the kids the whole time. Everybody's yelling. And I was like, this is really over the top, right? So the mom's yelling and screaming all the time at her kids. This is just all the time. And then they go to school and they get yelled at all the time, apparently. And then, of course, there's a sweet moment where the mother has, a moment with Sienna, and Sienna's like, "I love you, Mom." And the mom's like, "I love you too. Enjoy yourself." And then Mom's dead. And the funny thing is, as soon as over the phone it was, "I love you too," I was like, oh, Mom's gonna die now. That's it. She said her "I love you," and now it's over. Now it's done. That's it. It's finished. And then, of course, we see the mother later on, where she's the demonic form of the mother that you see from, like, it's so there's definitely something there. There's definitely a lore that's being built through this, and I'm excited to see where it could go. Yep, I'm excited to see, and yet I'm terrified at the same time, which makes sense because the movie's called Terrifier. But I'm also trepidatious, maybe might be a good word for it. But I have some concerns that next time around, that because the gore gets ramped up in each movie, whether it's Hallows Eve and now Terrifier and then Terrifier 2, what in the world? What in the world could they do in the next movie? Like, how far can this go? That's my only concern. Is I don't know if I could get through another movie where the gore gets amped up more. And you know it's going to. You absolutely know it's going to. That he's be like, well, I got to up myself from what he did the last time, so here we go. And who knows what twisted, messy stuff's going to be on the screen. But it was enjoyable. In between the queasiness that I felt during certain scenes, I really did enjoy it. I thought the relationship between brother and sister was normal-ish. I mean, siblings don't usually, hold hands and get along great and go skipping through the fields. That's normally not how siblings are. And so I thought that was a realistic relationship. I thought the relationship she had with her friends was pretty normal and down to earth. She did very quickly go from being stoned on Molly to being completely 100% okay. But when your life's in danger, I think that'll sober you up pretty quick. So there's that. Oh, anyways, so I finally watched it. Let me know your thoughts if you watched it. And again, I think maybe best final girl I've seen. But let me know your thoughts. That could absolutely be a list video I do at some point this summer too. The best final girls I've seen in a horror movie. And she'd be near the top. She would absolutely be near the top. That was such a fantastic fight at the end that went on for what, 20, 25 minutes? It was great. The only drawback with that is you can see that, like, the way that art's written, that he dispatches of people very, very quickly. And then there's certain characters in the movie that, because they're important characters, he doesn't. And it's like, okay, so art totally could have ended this right here and didn't, because that's a main character. So that's one distraction I had kind of in the back of my mind. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And yeah, this is my Cthulhu 2020 shirt. I don't really have much chance to wear this now, but Evil Cthulhu, and it's the greater of two evils right there on the shirt. So there you go. Anyways, thank you guys. So I just figured it worked because, yeah, Terrifier just feels so... You guys know. And of course, if I will say this in closing, if you're a wrestling fan and you heard Jericho's in this, yes, Chris Jericho's in the movie for like 30 seconds. After the credits, he's in there for 30 seconds. So it's nothing major. But thank you guys so much for all your support. And apparently Bear wanted to say hi as well. So I should just meowed. Right, kitty? Right? There you go. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.